Most traders overcomplicate their system, they chase random breakouts, and they end up being frustrated and inconsistent. But what if you could follow a simple mechanical model, one that takes the guess out of trading, and one that gives you the highest probability yield in the whole market? After years of trial and error, blowing accounts, taking one step forward and two steps backwards, I built a system so simple that anyone can use it no matter what your experience level. The same exact one that's helped me trade with confidence and discipline over the last 4.5 years. Quick disclaimer, trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I've been trading for 6 years and I lost for almost 2 years straight before I became consistent. Trading involves a lot of risk, and this video is strictly for educational purposes only. Make sure you do your own research. Now let's get into it. The same exact model that I use every single day. This is called the close and retest model, and it's basically super simple. I have 2 levels that I mark in the pre-market every single morning, and all I do is I wait for a close and retest. This isn't about guessing or chasing breakouts, but it's simply a waiting game and waiting to see if what you want to happen happens. There are 4 main setups that I use. There's 2 bullish ones and 2 bearish ones. I'll break down each one, show you when I enter, when I exit, and how exactly to use them. Let's get into it. So the first setup that we're gonna be going over is my pre-market high retest setup. Every morning I do the same exact thing. I look at the stocks that I'm watching for that day. And if you're wondering, PB, I didn't know what stock to trade, I literally have a full video on it on my YouTube. Then I mark the pre-market high and I mark the pre-market low. But if it's a bull setup, then all that really matters is the pre-market high. So we mark the pre-market high, right? Then I wait for it to get above the pre-market high. But not only do I need to get above the pre-market high, but I needed to close the candle above. So you can see how right here, it did not close above, it just got above. But then right here, it actually closed above. This is your confirmation. Once we get this close above, I'm now looking for a retest, which as you see, we got the retest of the pre-market high right here. This is the entry. So we got a 5-minute close above pre-market high. After the close, I'm looking for it to come down and tap the pre-market high, and that's my entry. So as you could see, it's literally like this. You get above, you come down, tap it, you go back up, cha-ching, ba-boom, cha-ching. So your entry is right here. Then you take trims once it goes near high of day. Then you either move stops break even or under the EMA. But there's one other bullish setup that we have to go over. So say you took this trade and it was a small win or a break even trade or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to show you guys the setup. The other bullish setup is the VWAP retest. So look, the second your VWAP, which is this yellow line right here, gets above the pre-market high. So you see how this is a pre-market high retest, right? Really no reason to sell unless you sell under the EMA. Still above the pre-market high. Your stop loss is under the pre-market high. So there's no reason to sell. But say you didn't enter here, right? Your second entry is on this VWAP retest. You see how it comes down and taps VWAP? You're waiting for a VWAP retest here, because if VWAP is over pre-market high, then you always focus on the VWAP retest. If pre-market high is over VWAP, then you do the pre-market high retest. So here is going to be a VWAP retest because VWAP is over pre-market high. So then retest VWAP. This is your second entry, or if you missed the first one, this is where you enter. And this also shows that you're still fine to hold. And then it absolutely rips. There's no reason to get out of your position until it goes under the EMA right here. So you trim as it goes up, but you hold your runners until it goes under the EMA right there. That's it. These are the 2 bullish setups. So first things first is a pre-market high retest. You get above the pre-market high, you come down, tap it. This is your entry. Your stop loss is if it closes under. So if this candle were to close under the pre-market high, it would have stopped out. Your target's high a day. And then once you trim, your stops at break even. Same thing with VWAP. Keep in mind, for the retest strategy, whatever you're entering off of, your stop loss if it gets a 5-minute close under or above that. Next, my pre-market low retest strategy. So I literally only have to show you guys one chart for this because there's 2 examples. So as you could see, coin, we marked the pre-market low. Coin had an ugly daily and also closed weak. I'm going to give you guys a tip. When a stock closes weak, there's a high chance it's going to be a day 2 dumper. Same thing if a stock closes strong, there's a high chance it's going to be a day 2 ripper. But this one closed weak. So what happens? We mark our pre-market low. We then wait for a 5-minute close under pre-market low. That's the close right there. And then what happens? Magic. There's a pre-market low retest. But let me tell you something. It's not magic. It's the strategy. So we got a pre-market low retest. Then, as you can see, rises the EMA, rises the EMA. We're probably taking trims. Then you get out of your full position right here because it's the first time you got above the EMA. And that's a beautiful trade right there. A+. That's how you do it. And then, say it would have gone above the pre-market low, you would have just taken a loss and stopped out. So say you missed this entry, right? Now, because VWAP is under pre-market low, you're only focusing on VWAP retests. So what happens? We come up, we retest VWAP. This is your second entry for puts. Then it dumps. Take trims near low a day, and that's it. That's how you do it. You're not really looking at the EMA here because you entered it above the EMA, which doesn't matter. But yeah, so I just coincidentally did it with those two setups where it's the same on the same chart. But again, like you do a VWAP retest off the open if it's above pre-market high, or a VWAP bearish retest if it's under pre-market low. But here's just two examples on how the pre-market low retest works and how the bearish VWAP retest works. Now, why don't I show you one that I traded today? Wait, where is it at? Right here. So this was a bearish VWAP retest that I traded today. I mean, a bearish VWAP and pre-market low retest traded today. So you mark your pre-market low, right? What happens? 5-minute close under pre-market low. We then get a retest of pre-market low and VWAP. This is the entry. Whenever you have two retests lined up, so for example, a VWAP retest and a pre-market low retest, that's when it's absolutely A+. This was my entry here. This is the entry here. Then it absolutely dumps, trims. Then you get out of your full position after you see an ugly candle like this, or you could wait until a candle like this. But I did make money in SPY puts today. And literally, that's the setup. Pre-market low retest, easy. And if you're scalping, you could always look at the EMA too and like take these EMA taps. That's something I do sometimes, but I don't really like to scalp. I like to focus on the higher quality trades. So this is an A+ pre-market low retest right here, as well as a VWAP retest. You see how it tapped VWAP and rejected? That also looks good. So that's just another example from today. Now, I want to show you guys some real trades that I've taken. Real trades. So as you could see, SPY, the first candle here was green and the first candle in coin was red. Coin was extremely weak this day. They had relative weakness compared to the market. Coin was the weakest name this day. So what does that mean? Also, SPY was bearish. So I'm looking for the weakest name. I found it. It was coin. So what happens? We got a 5-minute close under the pre-market low. So then I like to take puts. But VWAP is under the pre-market low. So what do I look for? A VWAP retest. I then took puts on this VWAP retest. And I personally sold too early. I shouldn't have sold this early. It was a mistake that I made. I sold right here. I made $6,000. But then really I shouldn't have sold till about right there once it got above the EMA. But it's okay. I was happy with the trade. But again, a VWAP retest. That's the setup. I mean, under pre-market low, you take the VWAP retest. But let me ask you something. It's the same exact day. You have our pre-market low marked on SPY, right? Right here. What happens? 5-minute close under pre-market low. Pre-market low retest. That an absolute dump. Now what happens? We come up. We go exactly to VWAP. This is your second entry for puts. Then it absolutely dumps. Do you guys think it's a coincidence that we always come up to that pre-market low or that VWAP and then reject? I'll tell you something. It's not a coincidence. This is the strategy. This is the setup. And this is why I love the pre-market low and the VWAP levels. Like, look at this, guys. Look at this price action on these charts. Like, reject rate at VWAP. Reject rate at pre-market low, then reject rate at VWAP. These are the bear setups right here. I mean, that's it. Study these. This is literally all you need to know for the bearish setups. And these are live examples too. Like, I took this trade live. So you can look at my last YouTube video. I showed it. I recorded it. Now, I'll show you guys an example of a real bullish pre-market high retest. You have pre-market high. Then you have a pre-market high and a VWAP retest right here. Take trims as it goes up, then it rides the EMA. You don't have to get out of your runners till about right there. Again, like, I know I'm going over it fast, but okay, let's step by step. You mark a pre-market high, 5-minute close above pre-market high and VWAP retest. Trim at high a day. Keep trimming as it goes up. Out of all your runners, really out of all my runners right here, because I hate this candle right here. I hate these two candles. These are called gravestone doji candles. When you see gravestone doji candles, usually indicates a reversal is coming. So when I see these candles, I like to get out. But if you followed the EMA, you would get out right there. But the most important thing is that's an entry, your stop loss if it closes under here, and that's it. That's my setup. Some tips while using this strategy is that you only want to trade stocks that have clear relative strength or weakness compared to SPY and QQQ. I'm gonna have a full YouTube video on that. Then I only trade like the first hour to maybe 2 hours of the day, usually the first hour of the day. Also, quality over quantity. I'd rather take 1 A+ trade a day than 5 little scalps. And I make sure I have a high risk to reward on every trade. So I won't take a pre-market high retest if there's a huge psychological level right above it, because my reward's not that high. I would wait for us to get above, or I'd look at a different setup. But again, you want to have at least a 1 to 3 risk to reward. You want to keep your winners big, and you want to try and hold your runners. Only A+ setups, and the best setups you're going to find are when the VWAP and the pre-market high or pre-market low line up with each other, because you have 2 retests compared to 1. And again, guys, if you take a loss in a day, I usually stop trading for that day. So if you take 1 loss, that's it. Stop, because chances are after you take 1 loss, that's where that revenge mindset comes. You don't want to have the revenge mindset. You want to be simple, and you want to be in trading for the long game. Some rules are: be very careful chasing breakouts. So again, the retest is the confirmation. The retest helps you get a better entry, and the retest is literally everything about the strategy. If the stock is in between pre-market high and pre-market low, there's no trade. Also, you never buy puts if the stock is over VWAP. You never buy calls if the stock is under VWAP. One of my favorite rules that I literally fully trade by is that you trade the trend. You trade the trend. You have to also make sure you're journaling your trades at least every single week, so you can find out your trading flaws and you can master your trading. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, okay, I took 10 trades. What do my 5 losers have in common? So for example, if you take 10 trades and you see that you took 5 losses and all your losses were on a Tuesday, then you probably shouldn't trade on Tuesdays. Or if you see that most of your losses are right off the open, you probably shouldn't trade right off the open. So journaling helps you to cut out your flaws and focus on your winners. And make sure whatever you do, you just stick to your system flawlessly. Stick to it and focus on consistency, because consistency and compounding is what wins in the long run. That's it. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed. I post vlogs, educational videos, live trade recaps, and much more. I love you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment any questions you have. Also, if you want to trade live with me every single morning, also with hundreds of traders, the link is below. I trade live every single day. I'm on a really good win streak right now. I'm about a 70% win rate. So it's been really awesome, and I love helping traders. So I love you guys. My goal is to inspire, motivate, and show you guys that this is really possible. Subscribe for more. Peace.